Hi there, and welcome to This Day in History for September 11th. September 11th is the 254th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, 255th in leap years, with 111 days remaining to the end of the year. Today's word is redact. Redact is a verb that currently means to select, adapt, obscure, or remove text from a document prior to publication or release. Currently, suitable synonyms of the word redact might include delete, remove, erase, censor, or cross out. An associated word is redacted, which as an adjective means edited especially in order to obscure or remove sensitive information, like a highly redacted file. The word redact has evolved to us from Latin roots that meant to drive, set in motion, do or perform, and again, so to do again or compel again. First known use was in the 1400s. As time rolled on, meaning of the word redact came to mean to arrange, edit, or bring into literary form, this in the 1800s. First known use of the word redacted as an adjective is as recently as 1967. Redact or redacted. The word redacted was requested by one of my viewers. Thank you so much. If you have a word you'd like us to explore in the Word of the Day segment, drop it in the comments. We'll take a look at it. And with that, way back in the way back, when the Roman Empire was only about 30 years along, there was a major battle between the Romans and some of the Germanic tribes, generally referred to by the Romans as barbarians. On September 11th, in the year 9, a battle that has come to be known, the Battle of the Teutoburg Forest, came to a conclusion. The so-called barbarians beat the socks off the Romans in the greatest defeat in the history of the Roman Empire. One result of that battle was that the Rhine River was established as the northern border of the Roman Empire for the next 400 years. I don't know about you, but when I think of New York City, what pops to mind for me is huge, massive buildings. New York City, though, is composed of 5 governmental districts called boroughs. Those are the Bronx, Brooklyn, Manhattan, Queens, and Staten Island. Any one of those is plenty big enough to be its own city, but there they are, all smushed together to form New York City. The surface area of New York City is something like 302.5 square miles in area, or about 778 kilometers. Manhattan Island accounts for 22.7 of those square miles, or 59.13 kilometers. Manhattan is indeed an island, a fairly long, skinny one, about 2.3 miles wide, that's 3.7 kilometers, and about 13 miles long, 21 kilometers. Just a little over twice as long as the city of Mustang in Oklahoma. That said, it was on September 11 in 1609 that the explorer Henry Hudson discovered Manhattan Island and the indigenous people living there. Alexander Hamilton was appointed the first United States Secretary of the Treasury on September 11, 1789. This is the birthday of a musician named Leo Kottke, born September 11, 1945. He's a musician, mostly composes music, plays 6 and 12-string acoustic guitars. He's notable for his finger-picking style and occasionally sings. Leo Kottke has overcome some incredible challenges in his life, like a partial hearing loss and painful tendinitis in his playing hand, 2 conditions, either of which could bring a musician's career to a screeching halt. But he's worked around and through both of those issues. He's got 23 studio albums, 10 compilation albums, 4 live albums, and 4 soundtrack albums. And he does put out a nice sound. Still alive and still working, Leo Kottke turns 78 in 2023. Happy birthday, Leo Kottke. On September 11, 2001, 2 airplanes full of people crashed into the World Trade Center buildings in New York City, and then those buildings crumpled to the ground. There was also an incident at the Pentagon in Washington, D.C., and yet a 4th plane whose trajectory was interrupted by its savvy and brave passengers who unfortunately also lost their lives. Thousands of lives were lost that day. Everyone who was alive on that day and old enough to know what was going on certainly remembers where they were and what they were doing when they heard the news. Terrible and heartbreaking day, and a clear turning point in history. Now, before we get on to the song of the day, if you'd like to see what else we might have covered for September 11 in previous years, I'll leave a link for you. Today's song is Pamela Brown by Leo Kottke, written by Tom T. Hall, who was himself quite the storyteller when it came to songwriting. Pamela Brown was released by Leo Kottke in 1974. It's an entertaining story song about a fella who didn't get the girl he wanted, but it all worked out anyway. An example of a thing that probably seemed like the worst thing that could happen at the time, but ended up being the catalyst for something better. I always found this song delightful for the way it sounds and the message from the singer's perspective. The song, Pamela Brown, has been covered by several artists over the years. I've included a link to Leo Kottke's version of it. Pamela Brown by Leo Kottke. Link in the description. And I think that's going to do it for us today. Thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share this video with a link in your email, messaging, or social media. If you enjoy this series, you can check out the playlist that contains these videos. I'll put a link to that in the description. That description lives on YouTube, so for other platforms, I'll include a link to my blog page that is called No Really. And you can also find me on Rumble, BitChute, and Odyssey. All those links in that description. Alrighty, that's all I can think of right now. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time. Oh, get your microphone. Okay. Phone over there. Hello. Okay. With 202 days remaining to the end of the world. End of the year. Please, not the end of the world. 202 days remaining to the end of the year. Let's read that one again. Maybe I should ask Google how to pronounce that.
How do you go about pronouncing his name? Paulo Coelho.
Coelho.
Paulo Coelho. Pretty straightforward once you know. Paulo Coelho.
Google is so smart. Yep, it is. That's what it's called. All right. Attracting. Just read the whole thing over. You know what? Maybe we can leave that one off. Don't alienate people who can be helpful to you. Flinging happiness all over the place. I don't know. Can I get this edited? Let's find out. Alrighty. Back to work. I think we got it this time.